Sometimes I can't use an alcohol stove out in the forest during drier months, hotter and drier months, because of fire concerns. So the only thing I'm allowed out there is a canister stove, and this thing here is a butane and propane mixture, and you have a special stove for it. And personally, I'm using the Optimus Crux stove here. It's kind of gimmicky, and I'm a sucker for gimmicks, but you could fold this somewhat flat like that, and then slide it, screw it onto the top here. Kick out the pot stands because they fold in, sort of like a jet fighter on an aircraft carrier. Turn it on. Start cooking. This here is the most efficient and less headache way of cooking out in the field. It's not the lightest, but it's light enough. So if you want to hike long miles during the summer or whatever, and there's fire restriction, this is the way to go right here. Well, this is the only way to go, really, unless you're using MRE heaters or something like that. But this is a pretty light setup. And there are other stoves out there that are even lighter than this here. This one is pretty expensive. It's $100, I think, somewhere around there. And what I like about it is you could, after you get done, kind of fold the wings in, and then it's got a little sort of hinge there where you could lay it down flat. It goes into this little pouch. I don't use the pouch just to save weight. And this is designed to somewhat fit underneath the little hollow of your gas canister there, just like so. And actually, this setup right here fits perfectly into my bot. Right inside. That'll disappear right in there. Put my lighter in there. Close it up in my cozy. And there's my mess kit. Right there. Finished. And this is a good sort of 3 to 4 day worth of fuel out there, depending on how you cook or whatever out there. But perfect for, you know, inside your vehicle. As far as like a backup cooking method, mess kit, in case you know, disaster or something like that. And that's primarily how I use it. And of course, when I go hiking and stuff, I use this as well. But as a backup to like a disaster or anything, you got it made with this here. Really quick and simple. Or the alcohol stove way. I like them both. If I don't want to go super light, this is the way I go. Alcohol. Medium way, not fuss too much about cooking. And if I'm not doing big miles, long miles, then I use the canister stove. And, you know, fire restrictions around there. This is not the only size. I've seen them in 3 sizes as far as canisters. This small size here that fit into my bot here, and that's what I like to use this for. Then you got the big one here. This is 14 ounces, I believe, and that could last you a good, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe. But it's too big to fit in my bot there, but no big deal. I could fit this in, you know, anywhere in the vehicle or in my cooler or whatnot. But these are really expensive. Well, relatively expensive compared to other forms of fuel. Alcohol doesn't cost that much. I use denatured alcohol, and this lasts me for a good 2 years with average, you know, going out in the field and stuff like that. A lot of people use heat, but this little bottle here is right now is like $2.30, where I could get a bigger can of denatured alcohol, and the economy of scale of that amount is better than the heat as far as price. And this little canister here will cost you like probably $4 depending where you shop. This guy right here cost me $7 to $8 at Big 5. $8 right here. So as the preparedness aspect of this, you know, I don't want to rely on specialized fuel or equipment and stuff like that. And so I started to think what is prevalent out there? What can I use as a resource that is readily available out there? These you could only find in sporting goods stores, regular general stores in remote areas, and you know, it's somewhat specialized. You have to look to get these, Walmarts and whatnot. Where the alcohol stove, you could pretty much go to any hardware store or automotive store. Automotive store, get yourself some heat. That's good enough fuel for the alcohol stove. If that's been burnt down or whatever, go to any hardware store and get yourself denatured alcohol. Readily available. This is readily available and pretty inexpensive. Or if you're in a pinch, I think you could put gasoline in here and spark it up that way, but that'll soot up your pot pretty bad and make a bunch of smoke. Those other options, the alcohol option is a hell of a lot cleaner. And like I was saying, with the gas option here, this is somewhat specialized, and this little thing here, like I said, it was $3 or so. Well, for maybe 3.5, 4 times the volume, you got yourself just regular butane. And you can find this pretty much in any hardware, plumbing store, regular hardware store. This is prevalent throughout. And they also have this version of it in green bottles to go to Coleman stoves and whatnot. And those will work just as well because it's still propane. It's the same gas. It just doesn't have the butane mixture with these. So on the net, on YouTube specifically, I came across this thing here. It's a gas adapter, outdoor gas adapter from a company called G-Works, and I got this off of Amazon for, I don't know, I forgot what the price was. Made in Korea. Pretty well milled out piece of metal here. So this part right here matches this guy right here. So it just screws on there pretty nicely, and you don't hear any gas being released out here or anywhere. So it's a pretty tight little fit. And then you take your regular canister stove here that would fit in this sort of aperture, just like so. And on the other end is the same aperture. As far as stoves and stuff, the MSR Pocket Rocket is the AK-47s of canister stove adapters. Plenty of my friends use that without a hitch, and they work pretty well. I just went somewhat a little exotic with this guy here. Like I said, I'm a sucker for gimmick. But anyway, they all will work the same way. You could go ahead and screw that sucker on here. Hear a little bit of a hiss there. Kick out the pot stand legs. There you go. Stick your pot right on there. So now you could use a regular sort of butane propane gas mixture stove here, this guy right here, and adapt it to just regular propane. Whether it hurts the stove or not, I've used it for about a year now, and I haven't really noticed any damage or anything like that. It performs like it should. The only thing that I've noticed is since this is a bigger canister, I think it provides more pressure out and kicks out a bit more flame. So, but you still have the your valve here to kind of adjust for the heat and the flame coming out. Oh, by the way, does this stove here pass my canteen test? It does to a certain extent. So that works for me. So yeah, this little adapter here, you have pretty cheap fuel. This canister right here costs like maybe $3 and something cents. The same as this here, and you got at least 2 more times more fuel. And this is readily available out in the field if you need to find anything. Nice little disaster backup type fuel for whatever. There is some way of, they have out there hacks to these to where you can buy an adapter that'll go from this bottle and the gas mixture from here, the propane. You could take your empty canister of these and actually fill it up in a certain way. I haven't done that yet, but I'm gonna go look into that and actually do it. So after I use this, I could just fill this up and and go camping and stuff. Because like I said, this thing fits into my bot there so well. I still like to use this size there to kind of bring out to the field and be able to refill it for pennies on the dollar. I'll just keep on using this and recycle it pretty much. Maybe it won't be as much as if it was new and designed for, a good enough amount for a weekend of camping out in the hills or whatever. So that's the purpose for it for me, for recreation. Where this guy here would be more of an emergency backup, or when I'm caught out there far away from anywhere to get something to eat or whatever, I have this to do what I need to do. So there you have it, guys. 2 methods of heating my meal. Actually, there's a third if I use wood and just a wood fire. Here's my lighter for that, and of course I'll have a knife and that and stuff to make firewood. But alcohol stove, Vargo bot, pot cozy, windscreen, fuel for the alcohol stove, fuel again, canister stove for this guy right here, an adapter for a propane bottle, regular propane bottle. And with all that, I'm pretty well taken care of no matter what situation I may face. If I run out of fuel, I could readily get it anywhere, because looters don't hoard freaking propane or denatured alcohol. I could find that out there in the space pretty easily in the first few hours or days of whatever catastrophe that might happen out there. So this is how it packs up. Alcohol stove, little compartment there. The cross Optimus stove, just like that. Boom. Into my bot, goes in first, shoves it in there. Alcohol stove, Tektoba stove, upside down, mini Bic lighter, lid. I could put a bandana in there so to buffer. Actually, doesn't bother me. Pot stand comes apart, wraps around the outside. The bell wire, I already have it in there, along with a piece of aluminum foil. Windscreen, real important if you're out in the field. Wraps around the bot, nice and tight. Then it goes into my cozy. Perfect fit. Put the lid. Spoon is too big. I like this long handled spoon to get into my mountain house or whatever. But if you had a smaller spoon, it could probably fit in there. But I made a little cutout there. Fits in there just like that. And that pretty much goes into the adapter stays on the propane bottle like so. And that's it. That's my my truck cooking system, or if I go out camping or hiking, depending on the situation. As far as those other stove, I got another kit right here. That goes to one of my daughters. Another mini kit that I've used, my first rendition of cooking kit. And of course the trusty old canteen cup. This right here with a few more of these will cover the whole family easily. Each one of my family members could have their own little cooking system. This guy right here is mine, and that's what I use. My go-to system for now. Well, good morning. This is day number 4, I think. And there's no water up here. Not in this point right here. I have to travel either 4 miles one way or 2 miles that way to get some water. But don't need to. I got plenty of snow out here. And I got a little bucket there full of snow. So I'm going to have to melt my own snow. So I've been using an alcohol stove all this time. Didn't build a fire once. Not yet, at least. So I'm going to put a couple of ounces in there because I have to melt snow, so it's going to take a little bit more fuel. It's around 35, 40 degrees. Sometimes you can't see the flame. Yeah, it's going now. Turn the windscreen over it. Then I set my pot right on top of it. And it takes about maybe 10 minutes to make some water. I already made water last night so I could cool off throughout the night, so I could have some drinking water. This is just to cook my meal. Cover this guy up. And I just wait for that sucker to boil. And this is the pot cozy I made for the pot. It holds my pot and the burner and the shields and everything, but I also use it as a makeshift serving plate. I just put the bag in there. This is freezer bags. Pour the hot water in there, eat my meal off of there, and I don't have to, there's no cleanup. I just gotta close that up, put it in a garbage bag, and I'm good. This time around I chose to go alcohol because it's the lightest option, and we're out of fire restrictions, so I am able to use this. If this was in the middle of summer, I had to use a canister stove. Pretty good little setup. I've been using it for years, and I always fall back to it.